little plug-in, a little plug-in for my office. This is where I'm at on Fifth Avenue right here. Fifth Avenue is right here. That's Fifth Avenue right here, and this is this is 43rd Street right there. Yeah, there we go. All right. So shout out to the yard. They're the best. Don't go to WeWork. Here we go. Financial statements. Are financial statements worthless? Financial statements are worthless? Are they worthless? How can I even ask that? How can I even question that? And I'm going to give you an interesting answer. Sort of. They are sort of worthless. And I'm going to break it down. First of all, they're not completely worthless because you need financial statements and you need clean, solid, reliable, GAAP compliant financial statements in order to file your tax returns. So that's kind of important. If you don't file your tax returns, that's a big no-no. But besides that, for a lot of my small business clients, it's important to see what their top numbers are, top line figures are, top line meaning their gross revenue. It's important to see what their big key expenses are in terms of whatever it is, especially if there's costs or expenses that are varying month to month. If you're a restaurant, you need to see how much money you're spending on ingredients and supplies and so forth. But if you're in the professional service business, your payroll, your rent, and other things, you probably don't have spending not that much in materials and supplies. Everything is pretty smooth in terms of your expenses, so you may not need to see that. Financial statements, balance sheet, and the income statement are sort of worthless to small businesses because it doesn't really show, I mean, it shows a very small part of their performance, and that's the key thing is performance, business performance. How well are they doing? How healthy are they? Are they doing okay? Like, if you see a P&L for a retail business that has a few locations and you see their margins and that's up to date, that's in sync with the average for retail stores in this country, in this region, for that sector, if it's for women or for men or for sports apparel or so on and so forth. There are so many studies out there. Yeah, so what? So what? I mean, okay, you're within the national averages or the regional averages for your sector, for your industry, for your customer, for your customer base. Whoop-de-doo. Like, you need more information than that if you're the owner. You need to see very specialized sales reports, very specialized expense reports, how much money you're making on certain product lines. If you're in the service business, especially if you're in a professional service business, do you know how much money, how much margin you're making on, let's say, professional service A as opposed to professional service B? Maybe you think your bread and butter is A, but your margin is so much better on professional service B because the people servicing that are junior level people, or junior level account managers, and so on and so forth. So just the income statement alone will not provide, because it's got everything. It's got cost of goods sold, it's got overhead, it's got everything. It's such a total report that it's not helpful. You need more specialized reports for your industry you're in, for in comparison to national, regional, and especially in a place like this, you need to know what the average salary is for the people that you hire as opposed to what your competitors are paying. What else is there? Here's one quick tip that I like to share with. It's just very simple. A very simple example that shows that financials are kind of worthless for small businesses. Whenever I take on a new account, or whenever back in the day when I was still in-house full time, the very first thing I do is a quick exercise, a quick formula is gross revenue over employee. Gross revenue over employee. If they're in the professional services, if they're in retail services, if they're in manufacturing, whatever it is. I get the number from the business, what they're doing in the business, and I get whatever the industry average is. I put them together and I show them to the CEO. And I show them and I ask them, did you know this? Usually they don't. Usually they don't. And just because you're a small business doesn't mean that you shouldn't look at figures like this. No, you need to. You need to see figures like gross revenue per employee to see how well you're doing, because one of the you, you may seem like it may seem like you're doing well, top line figure in terms of gross revenue, and then all the expenses and costs. But you need some kind of uh, various kinds of specific specialized reports and analysis to make in order for you to make strategic and tactical business decisions. And in order to do that, you need to have a good bookkeeper.